Flash at all. Some would say I'm the reverse.
Some would say I'm the reverse, and welcome to my review for Legends of Tomorrow, Season 5, Episode 10, titled Ship Broken. Let's get right into this video, this review with my general thoughts about this episode. I thought this episode was pretty good. It was a great mix between goofy and sort of serious. It definitely took itself seriously, but it still had that kind of goofy sort of feel to it, which I think is a perfect sort of blend for an episode of Legends. The last two episodes have been really, they've moved the story along quite a lot, and I really loved the last two episodes. And this episode, I don't think is as good as those episodes, but I really do like it. I think all of the storylines were really good, and yeah, let's get right into it. First, let's talk about Sarah's new abilities. Um, since that kind of connects to almost all the storylines in this episode. So we have Sarah. She was in a coma from last week, and she woke up in this episode, but she was blind. And last week we got a taste of her powers. This week we actually learned how they worked and stuff. She touches people, and she basically gets a vibe of their future. It reminded me a lot of Cisco's powers from Flash when he used to be Vibe. Um, so they use that multiple different times in this episode, which I think is cool. At first, it's sort of this accidental thing. It's like a side effect, basically, that Sarah has when she touches people. But later on in the episode, they use it to their advantage as a sort of tactical, maneuver and stuff. So yeah, they use it in multiple different ways in this episode, which I like. So at the beginning, she touches Ava. She sees Ava dead on the floor, and then she shakes hands with Lita, which we'll get to in a little bit, and she sees Lita watching the dog. There's this dog eating Mick, or killing him, and actually I think when she shakes Lita's hand, it's just Lita like crying over Mick's body, but later we see the cause of his quote unquote death. Um, she also sees, I believe, Constantine with a stab wound and stuff like that, and later uh, she touches John again and sees sees in the reflection of of the shard of something that he was stabbed with that Sarah was the killer. She was the killer. So they decided she wanted them to lock her up in the medical bay. So yeah, that's where that storyline went at the beginning of the episode. I am going to I'm gonna sort of talk about the other storylines for a second though. Uh, Obviously, the last few episodes, or at least this season, has been exploring Lita, Mick's daughter, and and yeah, I I don't know, I really like this storyline. It's a very humanizing storyline for Mick, and yeah, I just like it. So Lita goes on the ship, and he's showing her around, and at first she's looking to study for a history test. So Nate kind of helps Mick out, because obviously Lita does not like Mick, and she's calling him out on some stuff, and Nate's kind of helping him out, and eventually he shows her this big room of all the stuff he's stolen, millions of dollars worth of stuff, and yeah, so they bond a little bit over that. She's telling him like they should go back in time and invest when the stock market was, or the New York Stock Exchange was invented, and they bond over that. But Mick kind of turns it down, and she calls him a terrible father and stuff. But then later, they bond over something else, which I will get to. Last episode, we had Astra joining the Legends for, temporarily because they are looking to use the Loom to save her mother. So, at the beginning of the episode, when they're about to use the Loom, they have to decide who are they going to use it on: Astra's mother, um, Behrad, or Sarah's vision. And Charlie, since she is the fate that uses the Loom, she decided to go for Behrad. They tried using it. His thread is all tangled, and unfortunately, it didn't work. It kind of backfired on them all. And Astra later uses this when they lock her up. Um, they later use this to, or she uses this to try to manipulate Zari into using the Loom for her own needs, to save her mother and stuff. And yeah. But then there's a saboteur. The rings are gone, and unfortunately, when the Loom kind of exploded, the ship was damaged, so none of the cameras are online and stuff. But then Zari and Nate and Charlie, they look at the cameras and they realize all three of them contributed to this. Charlie took the rings, dumped them in the toilet, and hid the little case they were in this little garbage chute thing, which um, Gary finds later. Um, Nate destroyed the food fabricator, and Zari, what did she do? Oh yeah, she destroyed, like, I think it was like a generator or something. She sabotaged it. I can't remember what exactly it was, but she helped in it, and they don't remember any of it. So yeah, but it is revealed later that they find out that Gary's emotional support dog that he got, Gary Jr., he is the one behind it. He is actually a demon. I think it was like, I think his name was Marcosius. I'm pretty sure was how it was pronounced. And it was like the son of Sam's demon dog or something. I can't really remember. But Gary got it from hell when he and all them went to hell last episode, I believe it was, um, or it was the episode before. But I think it was last week. Yeah, it was because Astra helped them last week. But he got the dog from hell, so it is this demon Marcosius, and he basically was telling them to sabotage the ship, and he was the one that in this future that Sarah saw, he was the one that was basically telling Sarah to kill everybody. And when she held, Gary gave her the dog. She held it, and she got this vision, um, where the dog was telling her to kill Gary, and she snapped Gary's neck. Then she snapped out of it, and yeah. So that's when she figures out that it was the dog, and then the dog kind of transforms into this hellhound thing. I thought the CGI was decent. It didn't look terrible. It didn't look great either, but I was actually surprised that they put this really expensive CGI effect in this episode. It seemed that this episode was going to be an episode to save money, because obviously they were not filming on location. They were filming on the Wave Rider set, and that's it. That's all they filmed on for this episode. There was a few scenes like at the beginning when Mick was getting Lita, but that's really it. They filmed on the Wave Rider the entire time. So I was thinking it was going to be an episode where they were saving some money, but yeah, they had this expensive-ish CGI effect, and it looked pretty good actually. But at the end, um, the dog, he was walking around and he went to go to the library. He was going to attack Lita, Mick's daughter, and this is where they use Sarah's abilities to their advantage. She looks into the future and she sees the dog eating Mick in front of Lita in the library. So that's when they decide to go to the library, and they go there, and Mick is protecting Lita from the dog. Um, he is fighting it off, and then Constantine does this sort of spell so that the dog will follow it. So and then the dog follows it. Sarah uses her hearing because she's blind and not deaf. She uses her hearing to listen to the dog. She does this little backflip kick launch thingy-majiggy, and they fight off the dog. And then after Astra kind of manipulates everybody and locks them in the cell, she goes to help out John, who needs to know the demon's name to lock him in hell, which kind of explains. I was always wondering last season when John created those portals to suck up the demons. Like mainly, what comes to mind is the unicorn at the beginning. Um, I was always wondering why didn't this portal suck up everyone else? And this episode, well, it doesn't explain it, but it definitely creates a viable theory, and that's that John needs to know the demon's name. So basically, the portal is linked to this demon, and it's sucking his soul back into hell or something. Instead of it just sucking everything into that portal, it just sucks the demon that he, you know, creates the portal to suck with the spell. So he learns the demon's name is Marcosius, and he sucks it back into hell, and that's that. We also had Zari in this episode, kind of trying to become friends with Astra, and it seemed Astra turned her down and stuff. Astra's still acting like a villain, and but then at the end there was a little bit of like an expression that she gave. Maybe she's turning around. Maybe she's gonna be a good guy at the end, which I bet she will be, just because it's kind of obvious writing that's going on in that part. But yeah, then at the end of the episode we have Ava and Sarah. Now that Gideon's back online, they're trying to repair Sarah's Sarah's blindness, and Gideon scans her, but she finds no abnormalities in her eyesight. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't know if it's some sort of mental block where she just can't see. Uh, we'll have to wait and see what is going on. Why is Sarah blind, and what's causing it to not show up on Gideon's sort of radar? But yeah, I'm not sure if she's going to be permanently blind. I wouldn't really like that much. I wouldn't like if she just goes permanently blind. But um, I think they're gonna bring her sight back. So yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I don't think I missed anything. Uh, yeah, I basically got everything. Yeah, pretty good episode. I'd probably give it like maybe an 8.2, 8.3. Tell me in the comments what you thought. I've got some Clone Wars Clone Wars videos coming out soon. I am currently rendering another Battlefront 2 gameplay. It's a really, really long video. I believe it's like 59 minutes. It's almost an hour long. Um, so, yeah, it's a kill streak with General Grievous. So stay tuned for that if you watch my Battlefront 2 gameplays. Um, and then also I have the Clone Wars videos coming up, and Flash ends next week along with another episode of Legends, another episode of Supergirl and Batwoman on Sunday. So we got a lot of videos coming up. Also my Flash and Arrow 18th episodes that should be coming out. I'll try to get it out today if I can. So yeah. Tell me in the comments what you thought of the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See ya.